How you doing? This is George Senda, the guy from Pittsburgh. And today this is going to be a joint Trump-Rush Limbaugh talk. Because this election is so important. It's so important to keep the forces of liberalism, the forces of the insane left, the forces of the ultra-left out of the White House, because they want to control everything you see, everything you think, everything you hear, everything you do, everywhere you live. Don't believe me? Well, Barack Obama issued an edict the other day, and I use the other day as rhetorical, eliminating the box in federal employment force for saying, I'm a convict. That's gone. But now he's going even further. He wants to make it a crime, and it's not in the law, but it's being proposed, that if you refuse to rent to a criminal, to someone with a criminal past, to someone with a prison record. Now, I, unfortunately, did stuff wrong when I was younger. I got probation. I'm a convicted criminal. I'm not proud of it. I would never do what I did. I would sue the son of a bitch for borrowing the money and not paying me. I did something very wrong. But I never went to prison. And I've been told by police authorities in various cities this is no bar to employment or anything else, and I could easily get a pardon from the governor. I don't know if I'd want a pardon from Jerry Brown. I'd wait till maybe one day the state comes to its sanity and re-elects a Republican governor, but that probably won't happen in my lifetime or anybody else's. We have Kamala Harris, one of 13 attorney generals, and Puerto Rico, independent, who want to make it a thought crime. They want to fine you and take you to jail if you don't believe in global warming. That's their proposal. That came out this week. So there's the liberal thought crime. You disagree with global warming, we're going to fine you and possibly send you to prison if you don't believe in man-made global warming. That was discussed on Rush this morning. But there's more. There's something that Rush Limbaugh missed. That Obama wants to have a new thing in the federal housing laws because he says that America is so racist from its founding that everything we do, be it white, I guess by inference, if you're not white, everything's okay. You are never racist. You're incapable of being racist. It's just white society from the founding of this country. Gee, we had French here, we had British here, we had Germans here, we had Swedes here, we had Jews here, we had Christians here. I don't think we've had many Muslims at the beginning of America. We had atheists here, we had Quakers here. But they're all racist if they were white. And if they were people of color, of any kind of color, Latino, Asian, black, I don't know what else. What else is there? I don't know, but I guess Polynesians. So that includes everybody in Hawaii. You can't be a racist. But now he wants to make it illegal that if you're a landlord and you own a building, you own a house, drone, you better do that background check and rent that house real fast. They're going to make it illegal for you to refuse to rent to a convicted felon. But I think Rush Limbaugh this morning missed the boat. Because in New York and other places, they're trying to float a proposal. And they always float these things to see how we'll do with the electorate. Most of the electorate do not want illegal aliens to vote, even though they do in every election. Bob Dornan was no longer a congressman because of massive voter fraud in Orange County, where they bust in illegals and registered them to vote, and his Democratic opponent stole the election from him. But now I think what's going to happen, they'll carry this one step further. Since we've already been told that opposing illegal immigration is xenophobic and racist. They'll carry it one step further if we have a Democratic president, and they'll add to the fair housing law, you cannot discriminate against an illegal alien, a criminal. And this will mean you have a subclass of residents. Now, they probably won't be able to pay the rent because they won't be able to get a job. But you'll have a subclass of permanent illegal residents living in apartment buildings and houses and boarding houses and hotels and rooming houses all over the country that can never be evicted, because if you evict them, you're a racist. You're engaging in discrimination because they were convicts. And of course, these laws have already been passed in San Francisco and elsewhere. You cannot refuse now to rent to a felon. And I presume that there are fines out there. I read an article by a lawyer in Wisconsin that runs down the whole history of this. And the ramifications if it goes to court. Well, Rush says that refusing to rent to felons is tantamount, is going to wind up being property confiscation. They'll take you to court, they'll fine you, and they'll take your property away, because liberals hate the idea of private property. They want everything to be owned and controlled by the state. Well, they'll take it one step further. If you don't want Pedro or Julio or Carmelita to rent you and they have a criminal record, you're guilty of xenophobic, racial discrimination and discrimination against convicts. So they'll take you to court and fine you and try to take away your house, or your apartment building, or your hotel, or motel, or rooming house, or boarding house. Or even if you rent a little room in your house, or a what's that thing in the backyard, mom and pop thing in your backyard. That's not the term, I can't remember what it is. So that's the next step. They'll get after you for global warming, because you don't believe in man-made climate change, even though the biggest thing in the world for climate change is the sun. Next is probably volcanoes and tectonic activity like Yellowstone and the caldera. And then you won't be able to rent to illegal aliens or convicts or illegal alien convicts. And I guess the next thing they'll add is transsexuals. And I can see this going one step further, where if you're in a convicted felon who's a pedophile, they will say you can't discriminate against pedophiles, and they too will become a protected class. So you might have Crapio living next to you. And that guy is so clueless, he sent me an email, an inbox to my YouTube channel, saying the cost of a Wendy's burger. He used to work at Wendy's. Now he's an expert on economics and what it costs to buy supplies and food for a fast food restaurant, because he flipped a couple of hamburgers. He said the cost of actually making a Wendy's burger is 95 cents. Well, somehow or 9 cents, I think he said. I think he's full of it. I will investigate this with the Wendy's managers and the Wendy's Corporation today and find out what the actual cost is to make up a single or a double or a triple hamburger. Of course, I go to Wendy's and we do our laundry at the laundromat when we had a car. And because it's the closest place to get something to eat for the hour and a half we're doing laundry in the giant washers and dryers. And we're not going to sit in the roasting laundromat doing all my laundry or Kathy's laundry. So we went up the street to Wendy's. We could go to Jack in the Box, but we don't like the food as much at Jack in the Box. And if we have a choice, if ever a laundromat near Carl's Jr., Kathy would go to Carl's Jr. She loves this stuff. I eat the occasional hamburger there, but I'm not. Their superstars are great, but last thing I need is more hamburgers. So anyway, this is where it's going to go. Hillary Clinton presidency, they'll confiscate your house. They'll take you to jail. Now, if you're a landlord who opposes man-made global warming and you won't rent to felons or illegals, they'll have 3 strikes against you, and they'll probably send you to prison for life. And there's another thing that boggles my mind. Every damn poll we hear about, getting back to Trump, says that Ted Cruz is going to win the election in Wisconsin. Well, a guy I don't ever agree with, but he was on Fox over the weekend, was Geraldo Rivera, and he thinks that Trump is going to win Wisconsin. He just thinks that the independents are going to give Trump the lead there. Trump is leading in New York. Trump is leading in Pennsylvania. Trump is leading in California. And yet he's not going to win in Wisconsin. And yet the national polls, and every poll I've read except Wisconsin, shows Trump leading by 42% over Cruz. So something's wrong with Wisconsin. There's something phony. Scott Walker barely made it in the last election to be reelected as governor. I don't think there's this huge conservative groundswell. Remember, Wisconsin's a working man's state like Pennsylvania. And like Illinois and other places, and New York, when you don't have liberals. The working man who ain't a liberal is going to vote for Trump because he sees jobs going down a funnel. Like Ford basically gave the finger to their workers yesterday when they announced they're building a new Ford plant in Mexico. And the UAW raised hell about it, saying this is going to lead to UAW job loss. And they're absolutely right. And Ford says we need to make it more economically sound to sell our Ford Focuses. Well, I would suggest to you that if you're an American worker, you give Ford the finger and say, we ain't going to buy your Ford Focuses made in Mexico. We'll buy a Toyota made in Tennessee, made by American workers. Or we'll buy a Volkswagen made in Tennessee or Kentucky, made by American workers. And keep American jobs in America where they belong. So that's what I got to say today. I think that the polls are wrong. They were wrong about Dewey in 48. They're going to be wrong about Trump. And if I'm wrong about this, I'm wrong. But I think that Cruz is one of the biggest phonies ever. So is Kasich. Kasich is a Democrat in sheep's clothing, or in donkey's clothing. He's not a real Republican. And Cruz is one of the biggest phonies ever. I'm so sick of these two guys telling us that one says his father was a mailman, and the other one, the mother, was a cook or something. I don't know what the hell she did, but Ted Cruz's parents did. And Envy had a great comment to me today. I'm going to quote this. I said I'm going to use it. He said, it's the whole John Edwards thing. My parents worked in a sawmill, and I had to eat sawdust as a child just to survive. And that's one of the greatest comments I've ever read. I was laughing my ass off. I'm tired of these candidates telling us what their parents did. I don't care what their parents did. It's nice. It's nice cases where dad was a mailman. He worked hard all his life, and he's from McKeesport. I want to know what the hell a Pennsylvanian is doing, moving to Ohio, and becoming governor of Ohio when he could have run for governor of Pennsylvania by staying in Pennsylvania and being loyal to Pennsylvania. I don't get that. And Kasich thinks he's become president in a brokered convention. He doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell becoming president. Oh, and one more thing. The spew. That's what I call those rapidly aging women on The View. They're so dense that they commented yesterday on a comment by Rush Limbaugh, where he actually defended Hillary Clinton 7 or 8 years ago by saying the electorate is fickle and they will not react kindly to an aging female president. This is when Barack Obama just moved on to the election scene and looked like he was going to overtake Hillary Clinton. And he said that women age differently than men. A man will look distinguished when his hair turns gray. I don't know if that's about me or not. I'm starting to think I look like the fat Jay Leno with glasses. I don't know who the hell I look like. But a Hillary Clinton, as she ages, she doesn't look attractive. And they're all having a fit about that today or yesterday. It's the truth, though. If you see, they made fun of Margaret Thatcher when she was Prime Minister of England, one of the greatest Prime Ministers in history. She stood against the Soviet Union along with the Pope and Ronald Reagan and defeated an evil empire. So, you're going to see Hillary Clinton probably get massive injections of Botox 24 hours a day and plastic surgery if she were to become president. And it will probably be a failed effort to make her look good. And by the way, what has this woman ever done? Secretary of State, she destroyed Gaddafi. She caused the Middle East to go into turmoil, and we lost an ambassador, 2 ex-Navy SEALs, and a civilian, and yet no one died in Libya. No American died in Libya. This is the woman who told us she got mortar attack, didn't happen, and other lies. And I would like to stand up Hillary, Bill, and Obama in the same room and see whose nose gets bigger, for the Pinocchio look-alike contest. Oh, one other thing. Speaking of global warming, Rush mentioned 2 stories, and I don't know if amused is a word, but it's ironic. The Chinese, and he says, are not saddled with political protesters, so they can do whatever's common sense. Well, they determined something. They built windmills. And they found that it was costing them more to maintain the windmills, and they weren't getting enough power from the windmills. And it was screwing up their energy system. Now, I don't understand that, how windmills can screw up their energy system. But now they're dismantling all their windmills. And then you had a town in North Carolina, Rush said, he thought it was North Carolina. They voted to put in wind power. But then they immediately thought about it and said, we don't want wind power on our beach because we don't want to hear the windmills turning, and we don't want to see the birds dying when hitting the windmills. Now, I came up with a thing, and everybody said it's unfeasible. Why can't you put a shield around the wind vanes with like a plastic shield that would cover the vanes? You drill holes in the shield so the wind can go through both ends. You put a shield in the front, shield in the back, and make it colored or something, and a color the birds can see, so they're not running the windmills and dying. And nobody ever said if that's feasible or not. These things are way up there. We got them at the Altamont Pass up the road here, about 30, 40 miles. There's dozens of them. And you know what? What gets me is most of the time they're standing there turned off. They aren't generating a damn thing. I don't know if turned off the birds die or not when they hit them, but they're dying. Hundreds, if not thousands, of birds across the country and the world are dying when they hit these things. I'd much rather they put in solar panels, although I understand that does environmental damage too. As Heinlein said, there ain't no such thing as a free lunch. And my last comment, my fans are aware that I had great difficulty getting my internet bill turned on. A friend of mine offered to pay me to get my internet turned on. He had problems and couldn't do it. I had to spend $193 and change to get my internet and phone turned back on. And the detractors on BellGab will say I'm begging for money. Well, in this case, I'm asking for money. That's a quarter of my income for the month. I can't afford it. But I did it to get the internet so you can see my videos, so I can be on my new forum, Falkenberg's Fortress on BellGab. And I will also be on the Gabcast this Friday. I'll do a separate video on this. Jerry, I need a new illustration for the Gabcast for Friday. And I'm getting a new shirt. They criticize about this, but I get more people commenting about my shirts, and I've seen your videos. So they notice the shirts. That's why I wear them. It's advertising. And little Chris, step it up a notch and get me on another show. And I appreciate your efforts so far, even though you and I have a couple of small issues. And you posted it on your fan page that I was on End of Days, and I appreciate it. Although, that's part of my issue with your fan page. I wish you'd start a new one that was George neutral and just would comment on the truth and not Photoshop pictures and things. But and I know that will make little Chris mad. But I got to call him where I see him. Okay. I think it's 5 o'clock, the Gabcast. I'll be the sole host. You're welcome to call in. I will not put up with the trolls calling in for hate calls. They'll be cut off. So that's fair warning. All right, this is a long video. I'm sorry it went so long, but these are things I think was important that we have to vote. I know you don't like Trump out there. You don't like Cruz. I don't know how you feel about Kasich. But Hillary Clinton and the ultra-left are dangerous. They want to control America. It's like being in communist Russia without the communists, although some of them are communists, I'm sure. All right, have a great day, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.